Hi, everybody. Patricia Hawkinson here. Boy, oh boy, I've been struggling with some technical difficulties. We had an amazing Zoom event last night with Frank Seringa, and we're going to repeat that today, just Frank and I, because I was having such technical difficulties, I was unable to record it. We had a number of the North American team on. We had Denise Willette from Kitchener, Ontario. We had Melanie and Gord and Pat from Victoria, and we had Ken from Surrey. So it was a great group. I'm sorry you're not all here today for the recording. However, Frank and I both think that the information is important enough that the whole team needs to know. So I'm going to introduce Frank to you very briefly. He is what he calls himself a business maverick. I love that expression. I think it's really apt. Now that I've gotten to know Frank, he has some really refreshing different ideas about how to meet people and intrigue them. He certainly caught my attention the first time we met about 8 weeks ago, and he and I've had a number of coffee dates and meetings since. And I thought that you on our team would like to hear what he has to say. Please stay tuned all the way through this recording. There's a very special offer at the end of a free assessment that I think you will all find very, very interesting. So Frank, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Patricia. Now let me share my screen, and if you will nod when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay. Now I'll start presentation. I want to start off with 4 questions. Question number 1, if you are not satisfied with the growth of your Arbonne business, when I say not satisfied, you're doing okay, you want to do better, and you're looking for ways to do better. So you're not totally satisfied. If you believe that your Arbonne business offers an ethical, achievable, and valuable opportunity for the right person. Now, I know you're ethical because I know Patricia, and she wouldn't be involved unless it was ethical. Achievable is critical, and also valuable. Number 3, if you are looking for another way to recruit qualified partners, another way to add to your arsenal of how to recruit qualified partners. And finally, if you are willing to try a different approach to grow your Arbonne business. The key word in this question is different, as you can tell by my little fish swinging uptide there against the stream. Then if all 4 of these are correct, and you agree, then we might be a match. Me being between Patricia and you on the Arbonne side. Let me tell you a little bit about me. And Patricia said introduced a little bit about me. I call myself a business growth maverick. I didn't know that's what I was. Most people thought I was a pain in the neck, because ever since I started my career in marketing and sales, I was always looking for another way, an alternative way to grow businesses. I never accepted the status quo. I always thought there was a better way. Sometimes they were not, they were canceled, but many times they were. And they were very beneficial. And I've worked in or worked for or consulted with industries in professional services, insurance, financial services, and consulting. Online education, for example, an online university that I worked with. Healthcare field, health and wellness and healthcare field. And also the majority of the years I've been spent in the high-tech field. So that's my background, always finding another way, hopefully a better way to grow businesses. Let me tell you my Arbonne business growth philosophy. You'll know where I'm coming from. Number 1, the world changed in 2007 when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone. You've got to adapt your recruiting to today's iPhone or smartphone world, because even if you see a potential partner sitting alone in a coffee shop, now let's assume it's a she is doing one of 2 things. She's either on her phone, so she's not available, or she's thinking about getting on the phone, so she thinks she's busy. So you've got to adapt to that iPhone, the recruiting in today's iPhone world. And my philosophy in everything I do is that being different is better than being better. What do I mean by that? When was the last time you saw a commercial that says, hey, Look at us. We're not as good as that other company, but we're a lot nicer. No one ever says that. Everyone says they're better. So being better has become a commodity. You've got to be different. So the question I get is, well, Frank, how can I become different? And I was given the same answer. Look in the mirror. You already are different than anybody else. That's guaranteed by the laws of nature. And my philosophy is do not change who you are. As a matter of fact, become more of who you already are. Yeah. So I've developed, along with Patricia, from my work with other industries, what I call the Now What Arbonne program. And it is a program that you implement after you've run out of family, friends, and acquaintances. Arbonne's got a great quick launch and quick start and launch party that you get with your list of 100, 200 people that you know. This is not to replace that or even compete with that. Do all of that and more. You will get partners, you will get product sales, and you will get referrals. Do it, do it, do it. After you run out of family, friends, and acquaintances, then I think the Now What Arbonne program may be of interest to you. Now it is in 3 different parts. What do you do before you go out? We'll talk about that. What do you do when you go out? And then what do you do when somebody says, I'd like to learn more about your business when you present? Let's talk about before you go out. And this is number 1 for a reason. You are the prize. What do I mean by that? When you go out to meet people, you do not need them. Whoa, that's kind of controversial. And I've watched some Arbonne videos on YouTube, and it's obviously very successful. So I'm just giving an alternative way. You meet somebody and say, you know what? I'd like to sit down with you and share with you an opportunity I think you might be interested in. All of a sudden now, you need them, don't you, to meet with you. We take just the opposite approach in this program. They will ask to meet with you. And if they don't, you have many more people, many more people to meet that you can then talk to. So you do not need them. As a matter of fact, they need you. Because if they have the problem, and we'll list the problems soon, you and Arbonne may have the solution. They need you. The better you feel about who you are and what you represent, the more magnetic a person you become to attract the people that you need and you want to grow your Arbonne business. So you are the prize. Now, every time I use this with people, I always get the same response. Okay, Frank, I'm the prize. I got it. Let's move on. That's not how that works. You've got to internalize it. You've got to believe it. You've got to be it. Okay? Because people don't believe what you say. People believe what you believe. And if you don't believe it, they'll see right through you. So you are the prize. I have 4 don'ts that I think you should follow before you go out. First of all, do not prejudge anybody before you meet them. Remember, Arbonne is a health and wellness company. It is not a beauty and makeup company. And I'll give credit, I got this from one of Patricia's handouts. So every person you meet, whether they be male or female, is a potential partner. Do not prejudge. And do not use a generic approach. Well, this worked with Joanne when I approached someone last week. I'll use this with Tom or Mary. No. If you ask questions and listen, they will tell you what's important to them, and you want to use what they say as an approach to getting them involved in hearing about your business, and we'll teach you how to do that. Do not chase the uninterested. I don't care how potentially great you think they could be. If they are not interested, do not chase them. You want to attract the people who are looking for someone like you. You want to be discovered, be found by people who are looking for someone like you. And one great thing happens when people self-discover their solution. They tell their friends and family and their coworkers. You're not going to believe what happened. I met Patricia last week at a coffee shop, and we started talking, and She's got something I think is really tremendous. They will become your biggest assets. That is just awesome. So be found by the people looking for someone like you. And finally, do not chase the desperate. You want to attract the worthy. And I get this in every industry that I work with. They'll say, well, Johnny or Mary, they can't afford what I do, but I could really help them, and I want to help them. I say, great. Well, let's call it charity work, but don't take it away from your business. You're here to build a profitable business, not a nonprofit help center. You want to attract potential power partners, or whatever you call them in Arbonne, stars. That's how you're going to grow your business. Okay? Now, when you go out, what do you do? The first thing is, do not sound like everybody else. Just be you. And this happened a lot when I was working with the financial services and the insurance industries. They all have their scripts and their approaches and their presentations, and you were forced to memorize and do all those things. That's wrong. Do not change you to fit a particular script, approach, or presentation. Do just the opposite. Change the script, change the approach, change the presentation to fit who you are as a person. Remember I said be who you are. Because unless your name is Meryl Streep or Al Pacino, you're not going to be that good of an actor. I don't care how well you memorize a script. You won't be natural. People will see right through that you're not being sincere, and it will turn them off. And when you turn them off, you've lost a potential partner. Just be who you are. When you go out, just start a conversation. Say hello, say hi, whatever you're comfortable doing when you meet someone new. Ask open-ended questions. If the timing is right, they will ask you, okay, Brenda, so what do you do? If the timing is not right, or they are not receptive, or they could care less what you do, they won't ask. You don't tell. You be polite and you move on. Be polite and move on. Because if they are not receptive, or if they're not interested, or if they don't have the time, you are just wasting your time, and time is your most important asset. So just go out and say hi, and we'll go from here. Now, here is a program that I guess if I'm noted for anything, I'm noted for this. I call it the Never Feel Rejected Again program, which I've developed for other industries. And working with Patricia, I've developed this for Arbonne, and I call it the 3-tier Arbonne test. And this is the crux of this new and different approach. Let me introduce it. If the person you meet does not pass, it may only be for now. Be polite and move on. Don't talk about your business. Who determines if they pass? You do. This is your test. It may be that they're perfect for your business, but they're not going to listen to you right now. They're not open to it. They're distracted. You will waste a great partner if you force yourself on them. If the timing's not right, they do not pass. It may be for now, but just be polite and move on. If they do pass according to your criteria, you may now have a potential partner. That's awesome. So what is the 3-tier Arbonne test? And I'm going to wait one more because I like when this little mannequin checks the boxes. I think it's cute. So you're in line and you're meeting some people, one person, and the conversation goes on, and they say, hey, Ken, so what do you do? All right. Now is the first time that you talk about your business. You now employ the Tier 1 test. The Tier 1 test takes 7 seconds or less. For example, you may say something like this. What do you do? Well, you know how it feels to have too many days and not enough dollars at the end of the month? No, chances are they'll nod. I solved that problem. And this is critical. Stop talking and wait for them to react. Don't continue. Stop talking, wait for them to react. This is a test. They'll react one of two ways. They'll say something like, what did you just say? What was that? What do you mean? You have interrupted their internal conversation. You now have their attention. They pass. You now go to tier 2. However, if they ignore what you say, they'll say, oh, that's nice, and they give it short shrift, they fail. They don't pass your test. The timing's not right. They are not receptive. They could care less what it is you're going to talk about. Do not talk anymore about your business. Do not give them your business card. Be polite and move on. Be polite and move on. But they say, well, what did you say? What do you mean by that? They now go to tier 2. Tier 1 was 7 seconds. Tier 2 is 17 seconds or less. You'll say something similar to or something like, well, imagine if a single mom with very little time and money could start her own business generating $200 to $2,000 per month without neglecting her children. That's what I do. And just like in tier 1, you stop talking and you wait for them to react. They'll react one of two ways. They'll say something like, is that even possible? Or how did she do that? Or anything that says they want to hear more. Notice the change in position here? They are asking you for more information. And if they don't, you walk away. So if they say, yeah, I'd like to hear more, or whatever word they come up with, they pass, you go to tier 3. If they say, oh, that's nice, again, they don't react positively, that's fine. The timing's not right, they're distracted, they don't feel, whatever the reason is. Now's not the time to talk about your business. Stop talking about your business. Do not give them your business card. Be polite and move on. They do not pass your criteria. But they say, well, how did she do that? Or how does a mom do that? Whatever they're going to say. You're now ready to go to tier 3. And tier 3, tier 1 was 7 seconds. Tier 2 was 17 seconds. Tier 3 is 27 seconds. And you're going to say, well, let me tell you a story. People love stories. The minute you say, let me tell you a story, they say, oh, yeah, well, I'll hear it. Let me tell you a story. When I first met Mary, she's a 29-year-old single mom. She was looking for a way to provide more for her 3 kids. It's now 5 months later. Mary owns her own business, and last month, Mary made an extra $348 to buy the goodies her kids deserve. As a matter of fact, Mary told me on the phone last week, Patricia, I am so excited to see how far I can grow my business. And just like tier 1 and tier 2, stop talking and wait for them to react. They'll react one of two ways. They will think to themselves, wow, I wonder if Gord could do that for me. They may not say that to you, but they're going to start asking a bunch of questions because you may be the solution to their problem. Well, how should you do it? They'll ask you 3, 5, 10 questions in a row. Here's a critical statement. Do not answer these questions. Now, that's controversial again, because you've always been taught when people show interest in my business, sit down and talk to them, get them involved, and so forth. Wrong. That's not the way this works. And you'll see why in the next point. They're curious. They're hungry for more information. Do not answer these questions. You now have a potential partner. Congratulations. The key word being potential. Again, if they blow it off, so, oh, that's nice, and they change the subject, timing's not right, they are not receptive, stop talking about your business. Do not give them your business card. Be polite and move on. Wow. Let me summarize. You will never feel rejected again because you decide if they pass or they fail. You're not asking for their time. They're asking for your time. It's a whole different dynamic. You're not chasing them. They are chasing you. If you approve, not them. If you approve, you may have a potential partner. Time will tell. Because remember, you are the prize. Now, I made a statement in tier 3 that says they're going to ask you a bunch of questions because they're eager to hear more, and I says do not answer them, and here's the reason why. You want to be brief, you want to be beguiling, and you want to be gone. And I took this from my daughter when she went to Upjohn training to be a pharmaceutical sales rep. I took it from them. Why be brief, be beguiling, be gone? And here's the reason why. When you first meet someone, if you have lots and lots of time to answer any and all their questions, you come across as needy and desperate. You might as well be walking around with a tin can and a sign that says, I am desperate. I will partner with anybody. Please, I need your help. That's not the image you want to present and expose. Okay? You're going to be in a hurry. If they pass tier 3, then when they want more questions, you say, I'd love to spend more time with them. I'm on my way to another meeting. I've got to go. Wherever you've got to go, excuse yourself, because being in a hurry creates gravitas, and gravitas gives you the things you want. Gravitas creates respect for you and your business. You now have their interests, you now have their desire to learn more, and you also now have their respect. How does this work? Because you want to say just enough to intrigue, but not a word more. The more you speak, the more you talk, the more you sound like a pushy salesperson. Nobody wants to be that person, and nobody wants to be sold by that person. You want to make them eager to hear more from you, and boy, are they eager. And they're eager for one simple reason, because you may have the solution to their problem. They don't know that, but they think there's a possibility, and they've got to find out if you are the solution to their problem. They will pursue you, not the other way around. Always ask for the next step. Well, listen, I'm on my way to meeting. Let's get our calendars, and you schedule whatever you schedule, whether you do coffee shops or restaurants or office, whatever you do. You want to leave them eagerly anticipating that meeting. If they eagerly anticipate it, they don't cancel. They don't delay. They reschedule other appointments to meet with you. Why? Because they have that one question that their mind and their brain will not let them rest until they get the answer. Can you do for me what you did for Mary? They will not be able to fully rest until they get the answer to that question. Who has the answer to that question? You do. That's the power of the not-what system. Okay? Talk about one of my pet peeves. Your persistence is poisoning your prospect. What do I mean by that? Not all, but just about many industries that I work with, there's always one person who is lauded. In fact, in the last industry I worked with was a lady, and she was so proud. She says, you know what? I just closed so-and-so. I got him to sign up. They told me no 25, 30, whatever the number was, 25 or 30 times, but I wouldn't let them go. I called them. I followed up. I sent him emails. I sent him postcards. I sent him letters. I showed up where I knew they were going to be and said hi. And I persisted until they finally said no. And people go, hey, she's so good. No, she's not. Let's take a different approach. If you constantly pursue a prospect, and you know what I mean by constantly pursue, I use the term persistence on top, they will think, wow, if I join Pat's team, she's going to expect me to act the exact same way. Now, if I'm comfortable doing that's great. But what if I'm not comfortable doing that? And I'm saying, is that the message that you want to send to your new partner? I think the message you want to send is this, that the method you used was professional, polished, whatever you want to describe it. It is duplicatable, and they can do it. Now, here's my opinion. I believe that many qualified potential power partners do not sign up with networking companies, not because they don't want to, it's because they don't believe they can duplicate what the person did that recruited them. Your message be that, hey, how I got you is how you will get. It's duplicatable, and you can do it. Okay. Now, when you present, you finally have that meeting that you met and you did the be in a hurry thing. Now you're going to sit down with them. Sitting down with Patricia, I've heard some great stories about some people who were making six figures, not a year, six figures a month. I wouldn't mention that in my first meeting with them, my presentation. Because if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Okay? Even though it is true. Because once you lose credibility, and who determines if you're credible? Not you, the person you're speaking to. Give them reasonable expectations, maybe a little bit higher than reasonable expectations. But if you tell them the ultimate, they're going to say, I'm not going to go with this. Because once you lose credibility, you become noise, and people run away from noise. In the Arbonne system, they decide how much money they want to make. You hope they want to make a lot because you'll help them make a lot, but they decide that. And you just want to let them know that more money requires more work, and that you will show them how to work smarter and not harder. So don't make it sound too good to be true. When you promote your assets, every networking company has a system for success. They have what they call in-demand products, even though most of them are just fads. And they claim to be a quality company. So you have that in spades with Arbonne. Okay. But that should be at most 49% of the reason why someone will die for you, will join you. The reason people will join you is for three reasons. Number one is you. Tell them about you. Tell them the value you bring, and you all bring value. Tell them about the team you've assembled and the team you're assembling. Tell me something, one or two things about members of your team. I don't need to know their last name. Tell me how great Denise is. Tell me what Denise has done. Tell me something special about Melanie. Tell me something special about Tennille. Tell me the kind of person you're looking to add to your team. Your team is the core. Make them want to be a part of your team. And then you've got your ace. No matter where they think they want to go in Arbonne, Patricia has already been there and done that. Patricia is your upline. Patricia is your ace. Patricia is your star. Let them play that up. Let them know that by joining you and your team, they get access to Patricia, who has been there and done that and is more than willing to help them achieve their goals. Why? Because it is you plus your team and your upline, what I call your assets, plus your attitude, that make you and your offer desirable. Plus you have something no other networking company has. Arbonne is the gold standard. That's your plus. And do not hard sell the opportunity. Okay? You just want to intrigue and fascinate. Nobody wants to be pressured. Nobody wants to be, you want them to pressure you. Okay? You know what everybody wants to be? They want to be fascinated, just like that cat. And you know what? This happens every time. After they're fascinated, you know what they want to be next? They want to be fascinating like you are. The Now What Arbonne program does both. It teaches you how to intrigue and fascinate so that they pursue you, not the other way around. But wait, there's more. As Patricia mentioned in her email to you, we have a free gift, and it is not Arbonne product, for staying on this call. One of my virtual advisory board members is a lady named Sally Hogshead. You may have heard of her. Her sister is a multi-gold medal winner for swimming in the Olympics. Her brother is a well-known Harvard graduated lawyer. But Sally is her own star, and she became a #1 best-selling author. In the year 2010, she wrote a book called Fascinate. And in 2010, it was named the #1 best-selling business book by the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and Amazon. And let me quote Sally. Remember I talked about earlier, different is better than being better? What makes you different? It's you. It's your personality. You already have a built-in specialty. It's there. Whether you're using it, promoting it, exploiting it, that's up to you. And this is your highest value. It's what makes you fascinating. You know, there are plenty of assessments out there that will tell you how you see the world, but as Sally says, I have glasses. I can see the world fine, thank you. The question is, how does the person you just met for the first time, how do they see you? And there's one way to find out. And Sally's developed this called this Fascination Advantage Assessment Report. It's an online questionnaire. There's 28 questions, takes you no longer than 5 minutes. I've done it, and here's a copy of my report. And it's a 16-page report that tells me about how I fascinate people. It confirmed what I knew, but revealed 2 or 3 things that I didn't know, and that became priceless. Sally charges $47 US for each report. You're not going to pay that. My gift to you is that you will get your own Fascination Advantage Rapid Report, which is the 2 most important pages, and you'll get those for $0. You will learn how people you meet see you. You will learn what makes you different, what makes you fascinating. Now, at the end of my presentation, Patricia will tell you the logistics of how to get the special link in my free assessment card. I've worked out a deal with Sally for this, and she'll give you all the specifics on that when I finish. But in closing, and you may have already figured this out, I have just put you through my own version of the 3-tier test. Let me tell you what Tier 1 was. Tier 1 was those 4 if-you questions. Okay. And if you didn't answer yes to all 4 of them, timing wasn't right, I'd be polite and I'll move on. You stayed to watch the whole Zoom call. If you didn't, timing's not right, you're not receptive, polite and move on. But you're all still here. Tier 2 is my offer of the free Fascination Rapid Report, the 2-page report. If you ask Patricia for the link and you take the report, you've passed Tier 2. If not, that's okay. Timing's not right, you're not receptive, I'll be polite and I'll move on. But if you do pass Tier 1 and Tier 2, you'll be invited to Tier 3. And Tier 3 is our next Zoom call in which we're going to talk about the 8 reasons why people join your Arbonne business and how to use them to your advantage. And I'm pretty sure at least one of these reasons will surprise you. So that's it. And in closing, let me quote, and I don't know who the gentleman, I call them Looney Tunes, and I will not do the sound. But that's all, folks, and I thank you for your time. And now I'll turn the presentation over to Sally.
Thank you very much, Frank. And I do want to say to everybody that the Fascination Report is very, very interesting. I did my own through Frank's free offer. Do not, as he said, upgrade to the fuller report. You only need the first 2 pages. You will have everything you need there. And we are indeed going to have another Zoom with Frank probably very, very early next week in the new year. And at that time, he'll give you some ideas of how to interpret what you get and how to use it to your advantage. Just before we leave, Frank, I want to first of all thank you very much for your time and effort. It's been just great. I know lots and lots of my team are very interested. But I want to ask you the question that Melanie asked last evening, because I thought it was a very good question and I thought your answer was terrific. So Melanie's question was, when we join Arbonne, it is recommended that we write a list of 100 people if we can. Friends and family, acquaintances, neighbors. And these are the people that we initially invite to take a look at our business or our products. Melanie's question was, does this approach replace that? And you answered,
Absolutely not. It does not replace it. Please, and let me emphasize this, do what you're requested to do with your 100 or 200 names, friends, family, acquaintances, co-workers, neighbors, high school buddies, I don't care what it is. Go through that. Follow the Arbonne system. Do it well. You will get product sales. You will get partners. You will get referrals. Use it and never stop using it. But eventually, you're going to run out of friends, family, acquaintances, and neighbors. Then I think you should consider doing the Now What program. And back to you, Patricia.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Frank. Would you please stop the recording since you became the host this evening?